with my phone, including the offer that I collected and potentially also including the store's loyalty card. So suddenly, this amazing thing that's happening online is connecting with what's happening offline. And that starts to be very interesting for the consumer and also for the retailer. So what I can do is give you an example of that technology. So this is just a portable example. What I've got here is an ad for a mascara. Now imagine that not in a magazine, but just on a shelf in a retail store, like a point of sale piece of material. What I can do there is if I touch this with a phone, literally just touch it. Boom. There we go, straight to a link that the retailer has decided to put there, or the manufacturer's decided to put there. So anything you can tap can now be connected to the internet as well. So imagine point of sale saying tap here with your phone, gives you more details very quickly, just like sometimes people are doing that with barcodes today. So anything that you can type, anything that you can say, anything that you can photograph, anything that you can tap can now be connected to the internet. And not just to the information on the internet, but to the processing power and all the people who are on the internet. This brings the internet and the real world completely together. So we're just at the start of that journey, and things are going to accelerate further and further and faster as a result of that. So if you're doing things online today, that's great. You're also doing things in the physical world today, that's great. They need to be joined up. The consumer needs to have an experience that's consistent between online and store because they're bringing the online into the store. And many of you are starting to try to understand how effective is online in driving people to my stores. Many of you are starting to understand that I can't have this internet business operating over here in isolation from the rest of my business. They have to be joined up because the consumer sees us as one organization, and the internet and the real world are the same place. So one thing else that I wanted to show you, which is more of a fun example, is just using the power of that technology. If I go back to Google Goggles for a minute, anybody like solving puzzles? Yeah, we all like solving puzzles, don't we? So I'm not very good at Sudoku puzzles, but I've got a Sudoku puzzle. Anybody good at Sudoku here? A few people, one lady. Should we have a race? No. Okay. I was trying to do the Sudoku puzzle and found it very difficult. So there we go, there's a Sudoku puzzle. I'm not very good at these things, but what I did know was that Goggles allows me to take a photograph of the puzzle. Okay. So again, we're using visual recognition here and using Goggles as a search engine. So there it goes. It's recognized that it's a Sudoku puzzle. And there we go, and it shows me, it knows it's a Sudoku puzzle. There's a load of listings of web results about Sudoku. I can find out tips on how to solve and where can I find more puzzles. But look at this. There's a little button here that says solve. I wonder what happens when I press that. Oh. Wow. I like this, not just because it destroys anybody's ability to do Sudoku better than me, although I like that, but also because it's a brilliant illustration of how you can take an input from the phone, go and use the computing power of the internet, and get back an answer in a format that is contextually relevant. So the format of the answer is it fills in the Sudoku grid. So I think, again, we're just at the beginning of starting to be able to do this stuff. I have no idea where it's going to take us. But being able to take an input through your phone and getting an answer that is relevant to how you took the input or the situation you're in is hugely powerful. So I think that's very exciting and also a bit of fun. My mother-in-law likes Sudoku, and she's very upset about this. Sorry, Jill. So where we are, we've got massive pace of development of mobile. Around the world, we're somewhere between 15 and 20% of our queries are coming from a mobile phone. And you've just illustrated how the consumer is actively using the mobile to research and buy. We know that twice as many queries on the mobile are associated with location as they are on the desktop. But none of us have got mobile websites, or very few of us have yet got mobile websites. But if 15 to 20% of queries are coming from mobile today, and you don't have a mobile website and you don't have a mobile campaign, it's like being shut on a Tuesday. It's like literally shutting the door to your shop and saying, sorry, you can't come in here today. It's not easy for you. We made it a bit difficult. Come back another day. Is that what you want to be doing when you have 15 to 20% of people online who are looking for you? So there's a big job to be done to catch up. I think the good news is it's not too late to be early. We're still at the early stages of consumers doing this, so it's not too late to be early. And a lot of the stuff today is going to be about how easy it is for you to leap and learn, to start trying these things. One final thing I wanted to do is just to connect back to... can I ask you to unlock the computer here? I just want to connect back to the desktop finally to make a final point about the connection between the phone and the desktop. So we've recently launched this thing called Google+, which is about how we can try to make real-world sharing, the way you share things in the real world, work on the internet. So it's about creating little groups of people who you want to share things with privately rather than sharing your opinions with the entire internet. Thank you, Amanda. So this is my Google+ account, and I don't know what's going on there. I think we'll gloss over that. OK, so that guy's obviously having a good time. There's my friend Petri, who's saying, look, here are some tips for things that you could buy for Christmas, etc. One of the nice things about this, though, is I've logged in here, and I've got access to photos. So here are photographs that people are sending me from around the world. I've also got access to photos from my phone. So I've allowed my phone instantly to upload all my photographs to this account. And so the photograph I took at the beginning of the presentation of everybody here being happy, I can now say, now, is anybody in the front row not supposed to be here? Are you happy if I publish this to the web? OK, so I can now share that with the web. So it's making it incredibly easy. I've got the choice. All my photos can automatically go up to the web, and then any computer, anything I have, I can decide, yeah, I want to share that. I want to share that with a small group. In this case, I've made it public so that the people in the front row can prove to their bosses and their colleagues and their family that they were here today. So again, connecting the mobile and the desktop. And over time, what we'll be looking at is how do we connect all the screens you have? How do you connect your tablet device and your mobile and your desktop and your television? Now, you only want to do that if there's some benefit to you, but hopefully I've showed you that there are already some obvious benefits in terms of being able to control your information, in terms of being able to make it easy for moving from one device to the other. So I think it's extremely exciting times. So fast and happy. It's not too late to be early. And I think the final piece of advice I would have is, you know, it's very, very easy to experiment. Make it simple on the mobile. Make it suitable for fat fingers. We have an approach to our engineering now, which is mobile first. We build things for mobile first because we're building simpler things that will work fast. And building simpler things takes less time, so we can launch things more often. And then we can build additional functionality for the desktop. Doing it the other way around means you're building fat and complicated things and then trying to slim them down, so it's slower and also more prone to error. So mobile first is really working for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Matt. Matt, while we have you on stage, I'd like to ask you a few questions because I found this highly interesting. You spoke a lot about how mobile and how you can merge your desktop with your mobile and using various gadgets. This last example is brilliant. But also about how we as consumers are moving from online to offline, and we're really armed to the teeth when we enter a store. And is the mobile phone, if you will, Rosetta Stone in order to understand what happens when consumers flow between online and offline?
Yeah, I think for a while now we've been, those of us who work online have been focused on making sure the online experience is good. And we've known, for example, that people who research online buy in store. We sort of know that, but to prove it tends to require lots of complicated and expensive research. So we've done studies with retailers where we'll take a region of the country and we'll turn all the online marketing up to 11. And we'll take another region and we'll turn it down to 0. And we compare what happens to the store traffic. And we can prove that there's an effect there. But with the mobile phone, the consumer is making that connection themselves. And so I think that's really when you start to get this happening, you know, in every transaction that's going on. Then the link becomes completely obvious. And that allows you to do lots of great things, like customize the messages to the consumer on the mobile phone because you understand better what mode she's in when she's using a mobile phone in your store, for example. So I think consumers already see the mobile, the internet world and the real world as one world. But for business, this starts to make the bridge really clear.
In the UK, do you see any good examples where companies are adapting to this non-line world, if you will, where in terms of organizational, it has a certain. It's a challenge.
It's a challenge. I think that's right. I mean, there are lots of the examples. I think we'll hear more today. There was one example I came across about 2 years ago, which was from EasyJet, and the